Hello my dear Pisces, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between April 16 and April 30, 2018 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I have done my readings in the order of most viewed up till now, but next time I will do the readings in the order of most liked, so don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I have put astrological information from the month of April in a video of its own that you can check out in my playlist Q&A. You can also find it at my webpage www.queenofcupstarot.se, where you can find and buy all the decks I'm using in this video. There is a subscription service up on my webpage that you can take part of if you want to learn more about spiritual growth, yoga and tarot. So for this reading, I used the Osho Zen Tarot by Deva Padma, and I will start shuffling your cards. So when I open your deck here, Pisces, I see the Six of Coins together with Page of Cups. Okay, so the Six of Coins is about balance. It's about it can be like either people over-functioning or under-functioning. Over-function, it means that you are mothering all, or maybe smothering all your friends and family and doing everything for them, so because you don't believe that they can think for themselves or do things for themselves. Or you might be under-functioning and feeling like everyone else does everything so much better, and it's good to be, it's a nice feeling also to be lazy and have other people do things for you. In this deck it's about compromises, and sometimes compromises can make no one, like end up with no one being happy. So it seems from my perspective here that you are trying to be very good and gracious, but maybe you are selling yourself off a little bit. But you do so out of the goodness of your heart, or it might be also a little bit of not being so experienced. So thinking that if you do everything for a person or in a situation, they might feel good about the situation overall and about you and love you. But usually when we are doing a little bit too much, other people might either feel threatened or start to take us for granted, or different scenarios like this. So you need to look at the balance in your relationship. Something is a little bit off. You might be either being a little bit childish and expecting other people to come to your aid, or being too nice and doing too much, so people take you for granted or feel that you're a little bit suffocating them. Okay. So I'm sorry for my voice. I'm a little bit have a little bit of a cold or allergic something. So I call the divine with love and light, and here we have maturities, the Ace of Coins together with Six of Pentacles. So Ace of Coins is here in the reversed. It comes in reversed. I have had this deck since the beginning of 2002. Not exactly this one, but a Swedish version. And I'm used to doing the readings with these cards in the reverse. So I will do this also now. This is some kind of chance that's being is about to be wasted, or have been wasted, or is like in the risk of being wasted. It's some kind of opportunity, but because you might be involved in a bad compromise, or everyone is trying to just be agreeable, this might be like a missed opportunity for this reason, because maybe you are supposed to really tell what you want, or really aim for the stars and not compromising yourself halfway, because then you might never reach your dreams. Okay. So I called the four archangels in the four corners of the world, and here we see also politics with like a little bit more emphasis on a bad compromise. So you might have a certain view of what's expected of you, and therefore you can't be really authentic. You're not showing your true face, or you're not really telling what you really want or what you really believe or what you really think about the situation. You are trying to just keep up like a facade or a feeling of everyone being like agreeing, even though underneath maybe you are not fully agreeing. Okay, so it's like some kind of game here. When people are always like assuming that a person thinks or feels or wants a certain kind of thing, it might be very confusing, because this person might not at all want the thing you think that they want. So if we can always be a little bit more authentic, the pure want of a person, or what they really are aiming for, their real goals, might be coming to the surface, and people can be satisfied for real, instead of you trying to figure out what it is that they want and giving it to them, and it might not have been what they wanted at all. It's like too much education making you to a person that's not authentic, or not. It's like being a phony a little bit, because you are following rules instead of following your inner voice. Okay, so I call the 6 elements: earth, wind, going with the flow. It's another ace of cups, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today. Breakthrough, that's justice in reversed, balance again. To give us a clear view reading for my dear Pisces viewers. So, Ace of Cups, going with the flow, it's what you really want, it's what your heart wants. But here, since you can't, it's like an invisible wall that you can't go through. It's like you have decided upon certain rules that you have seen in the society and obliged to, and these are keeping you locked inside a glass room, because you think that these laws or these rules are universal, but it's really just cultural, or just for your people that living on your street, or maybe it's just among your friends, or maybe just in your family, and you think that it's universal. Everyone do like this. I can't be the only one that goes in the other direction, because everyone does like this. But it's not true. This is saying that you need to be very authentic in this situation. Sorry, breakthrough. 11 justice is about truth and honor, being like really authentic towards yourself, towards your own soul, towards your inner being. Because right now it's like you're outside here. You're not aligned with yourself inside here. You're very unbalanced, because you're trying to be something for other people, and it's not sure that they want this. For example, it can be unexpected things, like a person trying to act all cool, not being dramatic at all, not showing feelings, not showing that you have been insulted, for example, always keeping like a level head. It might not be at all what the people around you want. They might think you might come up as a cold fish, like someone that doesn't care, and the only thing you wanted was to get people to like you and to think that you were a level-headed person that wasn't dramatic and doesn't require a lot of things, doesn't have like high demands, and maybe people wanted to see that you were alive and that you had demands and that you had passion. So, and it can go the other way around as well. Okay, so I want a clear view reading for my dear Pisces viewers, creator. So it's talking about you creating your reality, and we might create our reality from a little bit of a difficult point of view, where we make ourselves the victims for the circumstances instead of taking responsibility for who we are, what we want, what we're dreaming of, and all those things, what we're feeling when we get angry, when we doesn't get angry, when we're happy about things, when we're not happy about things. You need to start to show yourself as you really are, because it's like you're sitting on a house of cards and you just want the pleasantries, like only the surface things, because you are well raised probably, and you have learned that if we are doing certain things, there are consequences. And it's right, every action has consequences, but also the non-action, or to not be authentic, to not show how you really feel, to not show how you really think, is also having consequences. So the more you can be aligned with like who you are in your soul, the more a great creator you will be together with the divine. Yes, completion, that's 21, the world card, showing that this would be like the last piece of the puzzle that you need to end up on your highest path towards your highest destiny and align with your soul. So yes, I want my dear Pisces to have love in their lives. So you're accused for being a little bit of a miser. It's like you're not really open about things. Maybe you don't want the consequences, or you don't want the truth back from someone else either. For example, it might be a person being in love with someone but doesn't tell because they don't want to have the rejection. So it's better to just act like you are friends and keeping the jewels hidden. And it might be true. You might tell a person that you love them and they might not be into you, but instead you might go hiding this thing and hoping for this thing that will never happen in years on end, like secretly admiring this person and not ever have the guts to ask them what they really feel. And that's living a little bit like a false life, because you don't want the consequences, you don't want to feel bad, you don't want to have like bad feelings or feeling humiliated, or so you're kind of asked to break the chains and become the rebel, shake up things a little bit. Okay, so see if I can make it through this shuffling. I want you to have love in your life, the two aces that came before, and to find yourself in loving relationships. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So you have some chances here, and you might not be able to take the chance if you're just going with the flow, like with the thing that you have always done. You might need to be a little bit of a creator here. Okay, and here we have the Lovers card sticking up. So if you want some action, show a little bit of action. And even if it has bad consequences, if it has bad consequences, like the person doesn't love you and you feel bad, that's kind of great, because then you are in pain, and then every time you are in pain, you are finding like a place that's not fully healed inside yourself. So when you are in a situation that you're kind of avoiding because you know it's going to give you pain, it's like you're avoiding to become healed. Because when you feel pain, you stay with the pain, you process the pain, you digest the pain. Eventually you won't be scared of that situation anymore. You become more and more a healed person, a person that doesn't need outside circumstances to be happy. Okay, so I'll just tune in for a few seconds. Okay, so my dear Pisces, this is your future, and this is your now, and this is the past. So here we have the Seven of Swords card, the politics. So it's sevens are always challenges. So here's the challenge when it comes to the realms of your thought and how you communicate yourself. So obviously none of these faces are the person's real face, and they have a tie that's a snake. It's like you haven't really found yourself just yet. You haven't really found out who you are, and therefore you can't trust yourself. So you might not trust other people either, and you might have good reasons to, because if you are not trustworthy, you don't show your authentic self, other people on the outside of you won't show their authentic self either. And sometimes if you want to be just nice and just nice all the time, you might meet someone that always wants to win over you with sneaky, manipulating behavior. So be careful of being an extremity. Like if you're extremely nice, you will mirror someone that's extremely unnice, and if you are extremely polite, you might reflect someone that's extremely unpolite. It's better to find yourself, align with yourself, because then you will be somewhere in the middle. You will be a complete person, not finding comfort in being an extreme. To be an extreme, it's usually a survival strategy, something that you have invented to survive. It's like deciding, okay, this is what have been working for me, so this is what I will do. I will always be nice, never be in conflict, always say yes to everything, and that is how I'm going to survive. So that is a survival strategy, making you to an extreme person, extremely unbalanced. Okay. This is the past might be March, first half of April. This is second half of April. Here we have flowering is the Queen of Coins, and she's in the reversed. So it seems like you might be inwardly aimed. Maybe you don't have so much of a social life right now. You might be a little bit like a loner, a little bit, maybe feeling drained when you are among people, but it's no figure, since you are not authentic. You're not showing your true self. You're holding yourself off. You're trying to act in a certain way that you think are going to work when you are with other people, so you get tired. So probably with this Queen of Pentacles in the reversed, you don't have anything to give, because all energy is going being wasted with you trying to act in a way that's not really you. And also this card can mean sorry, it can mean that you are preoccupied with ordinary things, like doing a lot, working, for example, or tending to your house a lot, or being preoccupied with fixing your car, or you're dealing with your hobbies. So it's like you're a little bit antisocial. Or you might be dealing with an earth sign. This might be Virgo, can be a Capricorn or a Taurus as well, that's acting a little bit antisocial. It doesn't have to be an earth sign, and it doesn't have to be a female, but it might be a person that is otherwise engaged, or doesn't have their focus on you, or you don't have your focus on other people, because it's draining. It's like you're trying to work with something that actually works for you. Maybe you put your energy where you know you will be rewarded. Relationships can be tricky, but if you're fixing your house, that's a value that you will have for the future for yourself. And if you work a lot, you will have money. So it might be that you're making safe choices here, and you're not really invested in what's really worth something for real, because of this, that it's taking too much of your energy. And this is your future, and here we have abundance. So this is King of Pentacles, and this is Queen of Pentacles. So I'm thinking you are it's maybe good that you are withdrawing a little bit so you can learn to put better boundaries and to become more authentic. King of Pentacles is tending to his feng shui inner garden, starting to heal it. The Queen of Pentacles, she's a little bit they are a little bit different, because this one is more, it's about authority. You can see the mountains here. It's like he's living a little bit in a fort, or in a fortified place. So he has very good boundaries. The Queen of Pentacles, on the other hand, she just gives away seed like this to everything without, very unconditional, sorry, in her love. So that's the difference. And since she's coming in the reverse, it might be that you are supposed to not be so unconditional with your love, and starting to tend to your inside instead, and heal inside out, so you can be authentic in the world and be in unconditional love, but without becoming drained, because you're unconditional with your love both towards others and yourself, and you're going to be aligned with yourself, so you're not holding back your natural instincts or your natural behavior, which a person that might be a little bit on the codependent scale of things will do, just being nice, never saying no. Here you're being taught something else. And it's also like the wife and the husband here. So you might be dealing with very close family relationships, very close friendships, committed love relationships, or workplace relationships where you have this problem areas, so to speak, where you are now practicing on boundaries and preserving your own energy. Okay. So, in the past here, we have the 21, the World card. So it seems like you have gone through some kind of cycle that has made you wake up a little bit to these things, what I just told you about. So just this, that you have become aware, and that you are now starting to focus on taking care of yourself, has also been a kind of completion. It might also be that you have completed some kind of cycle. It might be an ending also of some sort. Maybe you are done with doing certain things, or working in certain places, or dealing with certain people. It might be just laid to rest very naturally without so much effort. It just happened because you started to become more aligned with yourself. And here we have the Trust card as well. So it's like you're feeling that if I were born like this, well, God must have wanted me like this. So I'm trusting in me, I'm trusting in the universe. So this is like the Fool situation, where the Fool now has made a jump, and just jumping out in this adventure, or this free falling, or this unknown future, because it feels right. So here it's very highly vibrating, probably because that you have come to terms with understanding that you can't be someone else than who you are. It's too difficult, it's too draining, it's costing too much of your energy. And you might also be, this is a little bit on the kind of emotional empath scale, and you might be faced with people that's here maybe you are giving things like unconditionally, other people are more preserving their own energy, and having like clear boundaries. And so this might be also two different energies, one that already knows this with preserving, and you needing to learn this. So you might have people mirroring it on the outside, being very like a little bit nicer towards you, and it's just to show you what you also need to learn. But here it's talking about this, the Trust card. This is the Knight of Cups. It's talking about this, what I said, to give of your love, or show your true self, no matter the consequences. So that's very, very brave of you, Pisces. And this is Pisces also. Next card is Transformation. So transformation is death. You're going through some kind of metamorphosis. You have now both the Lost card in the Major Arcana, the 21 World, and the Death that comes somewhere in between. So it's like two endings, but it seems very positive, because what is ending is something that have kept you kept you on the ground, so you couldn't fly off with your dreams, or your it's like you're a very positive person, and some fear or some life rules or something might have kept you grounded, but it's like you are freeing yourself by kind of saying, let's bring it on, whatever, just bring it on, I will be able to handle it. So it seems like you are not fearing the consequences of being you anymore. So it's kind of brave. Okay. Next card is harmony. So the harmony card is when your heart and your head is aligned and wants the same thing. It's no conflict anymore. You kind of trust both your head to be able to the wisdom that you might need in, especially in relationship with others, but also you trust your heart. So there's no conflict anymore. It might be life isn't so easy when we have this, because you can't just decide on one thing, one extreme. It might be that what I've said before, that you love the person, but you can't be with them, for example, because you're not compatible. So here love becomes unconditional for real. And it's also accepting. It's accepting of what is. Accepting of whatever is there, even if it's you don't see any possibility of it becoming manifested, or you see every possibility of it becoming manifested. And the 10, the harmony card, is again talking about like marriage situation or very deep love between people, very strong connections, the kind of connection that you have between soulmates or parents and children. It's very your best friend in the world that would never betray you. So it's like you have become your best friend in the world that will never betray you. So now it doesn't really matter what happens on the outside. Death can't scare you anymore, because you have found your true element. So it seems very, very beautiful. Yes, okay. Last card here is the silence. It's a star card, but it comes in the reversed. So you might have given up hope on something, like on the outside of you. While you're becoming more and more in tune with the inside of you, things on the outside might start matching like less and less, okay? And you just let it happen, because it might be a shift of direction, like your compass direction was this and now it's going to be this. So you're just going along with it. You put your hope on a little bit of suspension, and whatever happens will happen. So this is, as I said, really starting to look like unconditional love and very high levels of acceptance. So kudos to you, Pisces, for being able to do this. This is it can be sad for a person that had hopes about something, maybe a marriage, for example, but then you just accept. Here it's like this situation, either it's a marriage or your dream career or whatever. You just accept that you want this, but it might not just happen right now, and you put your hope on a little bit of suspension. And it's good, because if you have a lot of hope and you aim towards your dream very like in this climbing mountain kind of fashion, you get a lot of anxiety and anticipation and get it now ideas. And while you are putting your hope a little bit in suspension, you are fine with whatever happens. You're open for good things, but you're not demanding it. It's not like crucial for your happiness. Whatever happens is fine. So it looks very beautiful. A little bit lonely, even though with the 10 of Cups here, but it feels like it's something happening within you, some kind of acceptance process. And it might be in contradiction to someone else that's working with another type of extreme. So you might have a person, while you are showing total authenticity, they might show total non-authenticity, and that might be why you have to suspend your hopes and dreams about this situation, because the other person in you isn't on the same place currently. Okay, this is in the now, the second part of April. And here we have playfulness. So playfulness is Page of Wands, is being very in tune with your soul, also with your longing. Longing can, as I said, with dreams, make you feel like a racehorse in a starting box, like really in high strung and in anticipation for what will come. But with the other cards that we see, I think that you long for this, and it's like your map and it's your compass, but it's not, you don't have to get to from point A to point B like in a split second. It's the journey is what really is. It's like if you can enjoy the journey, you will be in the here and now, instead of just, okay, I'm here and I want to get to there, and whatever is in between is like wasted time. And now I'm thinking that you can live your life to the fullest here and now, no matter what is circumstances, and you can keep your dream alive, even if you have you get rid of this get it now ideas. You still long for it, but if it doesn't come today or tomorrow or next week or next year, you still will be fine. Okay. And it can be messages also, new adventures, that you feel very like you might feel very social while another person might feel very antisocial. It might be the other way around also. So again, it seems like there's two extremes here. And here we have the Master, and it comes in the reversed. So the Master is the card that comes after the completion card. It's only for this Osho Zen Tarot deck. And it's about becoming a leader for other people, but not a leader that wants power or wants other people to follow them, but actually just someone that is magnetic to others because they have something to, they have an experience that they can share. So it's almost like a burning log that can transfer the fire towards others. So it seems like there's a vacant space here since the Master is in the reversed, and you might have to fill these kind of shoes, or either for yourself or for others, or you might want to also put yourself in this situation where you are kind of don't try to shovel your truth down on someone else's throat. Okay, if they want to live in fear, if they can't be authentic, and all these things, what we saw, it's fine. Because you are not, you don't need to control other people anymore. And you don't take what they do personally. If a person you love doesn't love you back, you don't take it personally anymore. It's like, okay, you just accept that you can't control another person's feelings. And you also accept that you still love this person. Or you, it might be another thing, like with work, that you want to work, but you accept that the boss didn't choose you for this career enhancement or this certain type of activities that were advertised maybe for on your firm, and you just accept it. You want it, but you accept that you didn't have it, you didn't get it, and you accept that you still want it eventually. So it's something here that's growing on you, Pisces, and it's probably going to make you into a much more wiser person, even though the outside circumstances isn't the most the best that you can wish for. They are exactly as they needed to be for you to come to this conclusion. And here we have climbing to the past, and it comes underneath the death card. So this is a hard thing, because sometimes, as I said, we might love someone very dearly that's not even living anymore. Maybe they have been dead for 40 years. We might also think about the career choice we wanted to make when we were younger, and it's not an option anymore. And we might think of our best friend that we had a fallout with last year, and it's like we can't get rid of the sadness of it all, that we are still disappointed, or we still want this thing back, or it's very hard. When we have had a lot of memories that were very beautiful and pretty, it's not easy to just forget about it. And I'm thinking that you don't need to forget about it. You just need to accept that they are there, and kind of give a homage to this that once had so much meaning to your life, or added so much positive things to your life, and that it's not there anymore might not be a problem. It's just giving room for new experience. But if you're holding on too closely to the sad story of it all, that I once had love, or I once had this best friend, or I once lived in that house, you are living in the past. And there's no, you haven't made room for any future, because you're only preoccupied with what have happened in the past. But as I said, it's very hard. You can't really stop feeling in a certain way. For example, if you love this person that seems to be so preoccupied with something else, that might be very disappointing. And it might be, you might be feeling that you're not in control at all, because you can't just snip, cut the cords with this person. It's not helping. It's there. It's like every time you snap it, it's still whole. It's still intact. So the best advice I can give to you if you are in this situation is to accept that it is like this. That you miss a person, you miss a situation that you don't have anymore. And try to not be so, try to be accepting of all the feelings that's there in this package of you reminiscing about a situation that's no longer there. If you accept it and don't make a problem out of it, but just yes, that was the days. Like, there were really sweet days when we had that house. It was beautiful, and you just keep it like a little bit of a jewelry, but not as a burden, not as I don't have it anymore. Yeah, you have other things. If you don't have the same house, you have another house. And if you don't like it, the house you are in, maybe it's time to move. So you need to leave room for new things. And here we have turning in, so it's going downwards from 5 to 4 of cups. And here is all these things that have been in your life that is wanting your attention. And for example, when you were a kid, maybe you had a certain state of mind then, and you could play with all the people on the yard. You didn't have to, it was no rules, and it was, you can feel that it was a certain flow. And parts of you might be really missing that. And now when you are grown up and things have changed, you might be feeling very sad that things have changed in this way. But everything has its time, and it seems like you need to listen to all these voices, but kind of not get upset about it. Don't make a story out of it. Just sit with it and digest it. If you're reminiscing again and again and again of a certain situation, it kind of makes you crazy. Start to write things down. So now I miss my best friend again. He has been gone now for over a year. I miss the things we did together. I miss that it happens like this, and that what happened back there. And I'm sorry it became like this, and I wish I could have done things differently. And then you just stay with your feelings, because those kind of thoughts will probably make these waves on her watery clothes here a little bit more wavy. So after you have thought about these things, you might just need to stay with the feelings and get them calm again. And this is how you digest what you have been through, and you get wiser and wiser. If we just try to avoid, we try to cut off that person. Well, they never loved me anyway, and they betrayed me before they were not friends with me anymore, and you just want to erase it, then it's never going to go away, because you haven't got the experience from the situation just yet. You haven't got the wisdom from the situation just yet, because you haven't taken the time to digest it all. And digesting might take a lot of time. It's kind of why we are here, to get the experience also from really difficult situations, or from losing very beautiful situations. So you might think like, well, I should have gotten over this by now. But as long as you haven't got the jewel from this situation, you will not get over it. Okay. So the last card here is the Rebel. So you see here, 4 of Cups is turning into 4. the rebel. So this is when you finally can sever those ties of the past, when you have gotten the knowledge out of this, and when you can, you have become the bird phoenix also, because this thing what you have been through, when you actually digest the knowledge of it, or the experience that you were supposed to get from it, which usually comes from the pain, it's usually stored in the pain, you go through this metamorphosis and become the bird phoenix. So, for example, if you before were very you always try to, or you were very jealous, a jealous type. We say that you were a very jealous type, and you lost someone because you were a very jealous type. When you have digested the pain of it all, losing this relationship and everything, the wisdom might be that it's not a good thing to be jealous, and that's a beautiful thing to come forward to, but it might not be as easy to to kind of implement in your day-to-day life. But eventually, when you have digested it to enough laps, like round and round like this, you come forward to, well, I can't control anyone else. I don't own them. I don't own their time. I don't own their body. I don't own their life. And eventually you let go. So it's come like a greater and greater teaching. So from being a jealous type and eventually becoming the bird phoenix, and now not being a jealous type anymore. So that is the key of it all. And this is what we are running away from in so great speed, when we don't want to feel the pain. Because then we are never able to get the teaching of it all, and we don't ever go through the doorway, and we don't get the knowledge, and we are not changed, and we have to do the same stupid thing over and over and over and over again until we get it. Okay, I can't control another person, and I can't even control myself. So, and then you become free and very strong also. The rebel here is very strong, and he doesn't follow like social codes and rules. He lives by his own code book, coming straight from his soul, and he's like, I got the torch now, I got the fire. So he's not a helpless victim anymore either. So if he sees that the person is not trustworthy, he just says, I don't feel that you're trustworthy, so we can't be in a relationship together. And then all the jealousy and everything, it doesn't have to be there, because you're not together with this person anymore. If you are in a relationship where you're constantly jealous, something is wrong. Well, now it's healed, because you digested it and you came out stronger because of it. This might be an Aries person in your life as well. I haven't seen so much else. We have Scorpio there, but Aquarius. Okay, so here is the future, and we have the Lovers. So it's something that's yet to be completed. It's something with your longing. It still longs for something. It still wants love. It might be that parts of you have like given up on it a little bit, as I said, with the hope being in suspension. But your soul hasn't given up. So it wants love. It wants to learn even more from relationship, the same relationship or new relationships. Someone that holds another part of you, like the shadow to your light, so you can learn to see your own shadow and rub up against them, so you can get new teachings and become like the bird phoenix each and every time. Learn something new, burn and rise from the ashes, and be all wise, and then burn again and rise from the ashes. And here we have Beyond Illusions, and it's 20, the Judgment. So we have 21, 20, and the Master here. So, and it all comes underneath the Pisces card. But both these are in the reverse. So it shows that there's still things that you need to learn. So it might be that certain relationship isn't really completed just yet. Maybe there are still things to be taught from these situations, or maybe you have things that you could teach another person as well. So it's something that's a little bit incomplete, or the full teaching hasn't really been revealed just yet. And here we have sharing. So here comes Aries again. It's the Queen of Wands. So it's kind of the same energy as this, just minor arcana and major arcana. And here it's the more sharing part of Aries, like being very responsible for others, having a lot of passion, having a lot of longing, a lot of things wants to be created. Aries is also the head, so it's very, it has strong boundaries, but it's the queen here, the sharing, she's very warm. She's very warm and generous, and not only to others, but also to herself. So, and it comes here to 21, the world, the master, and this sharing. So I'm thinking that you have lived many lifetimes here on earth, and you have learned things that is very valuable, not only for you, but also for other people. So if you can digest what you have been through and start to believe that you also have a saying in things, and start to share your values or the things that you have seen, you might also become a good teacher to others. You teach yourself and then you teach others. So it seems very beautiful. And this with being able to not have like the outside situation in the way you want it, and still be satisfied, and still be like this a person in great self-respect, and believing in themselves, believing in their own capacity to create beautiful things in their lives. It's like you're never on the losing end. Things might not really be as you want them to, but you are not sad about it, because you know about your own capacity. You know of all the love that you have to share, and all the dreams that's has this beautiful potential, like these aces, what we saw when I shuffled the cards. Some of you might be dealing with a fire sign as well, but it might be a Scorpio because of the water fire kind of thing. And here we have Gemini, and then we have a Page of Swords. Page of Swords is it can be a very difficult energy, and it can be a very beautiful energy. It's just a very strong energy. So sometimes we reminisce about things over and over and over and over again, and we don't have any control, because our mind has control over us. It's a never-ending thinking. But if you can stop thinking and start to be more of like a direct person, instead of thinking what you should have said or thinking about what you should have done, you become a sayer and a doer. Because here it seems like you're tuning into yourself with these cards, and then with the Page of Swords you're kind of asked to stop thinking so much about things. Start to act straight from your heart, instead of thinking of acting from your heart, or thinking of maybe doing revolution one day, or thinking about maybe saying no to that person, or thinking about getting another job. You're going more from thinking to naturally doing, because you trust yourself better. With the Page of Swords, she doesn't trust herself. She might become, she's too wise, too smart for her own great good. So she become like a possessive person, or a person that always calculate things in rapid speed, but don't tell the other people. Just look when they are walking over the edge, and yes, I knew it. But it's like she doesn't really fully trust herself. So I'm thinking that you need to start to trust yourself, also your words, not just like your knowledge, but also being able to share this knowledge with others, instead of it's like this light that she has here. She's a very lighted person, and here it has become to chimneys, because it's not shared. It's just stuck here. All the wisdom gets stuck in this machinery of, if I say this, what will happen? If I say this, what will happen? Second guessing yourself all the time. Okay, and the next card here is creativity. So again, we have the husband and the wife, Empress, Emperor, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and here the both is in the upright position. Here the female is in the reversed. It's something with this, with your talents, your wisdom, what you are made of. You are born this way for a certain reason, and it's time to start sharing this. It's time to start to become creative, and not holding yourself back because of some social codes or rules, something you have, your own fear. So it's almost like you're supposed to be some kind of prophet or some kind of spokesperson, or it doesn't have to be in that level. It can just be that when you are among friends, you tell people what you really think and feel. And that is making you probably connect very well with both your female and masculine sides. It's like they're coming into perfect harmony because you're using both of them. You're not unbalanced anymore. You're not a polarity anymore. You can be both nice and vicious. You can be strong and yielding. You can be cold and warm in whatever, like what's coming up through your soul right now. So you're not just going with the flow. Sometimes you walk up against the flow because you need to do so. You're called to do so. So this requires a little bit more bravery from you to actually be able to live a full life for real. Okay. So I'll read a central card for you, clinging to the past, from this Osho Zen, and I will also take an oracle card for you. So water, it's in the middle, beginning. Okay. So, it's a lot of details. It's like a Picasso painting on that cube. The figure pictured in this card is so preoccupied with clutching her box of memories that she has turned her back on the sparkling champagne glass of blessings available here and now. Her nostalgia for the past really makes her a blockhead, and a beggar besides, as we can see from her patched and ragged clothes. She needn't be a beggar, of course, but she is not available to taste the pleasures that offer themselves in the present. It is time to face up to the fact that the past is gone. Any effort to repeat it is a sure way to stay stuck in old blueprints that you would have already outgrown if you hadn't been so busy clinging to what you have already been through. Take a deep breath, put the box down, tie it up in a pretty ribbon if you must, and bid it fond and reverent farewell. Life is passing you by, and you're in danger of becoming an old fossil before your time. These tenses, past, present, and future, are not the tenses of time. They are tenses of the mind. That which is no longer before the mind becomes the past. That which is before the mind is the present, and that which is going to be before the mind is the future. The past is that which is no longer before you, the future is which is not yet before you, and the present is which is before you and is slipping out of your sight. Soon it will be the past. If you don't cling to the past, because clinging to the past is absolutely stupidity, it is no longer there, so you are crying for spilled milk. What's gone is gone. And don't cling to the present, because that is also going, and soon it will be the past. Don't cling to the future, hopes, imagination, plans for tomorrow, because tomorrow will become today, will become yesterday. Everything is going to become yesterday. Everything is going to go out of your hands, and clinging will simply create misery. You will have to let go. So it's about being a fluid life, and realize that all the things that is the now. What you're doing in the now is the most important thing, because as Eckhart Tolle said, you can think of the past only now. You can dream of the future only now. Everything is happening in the now, so the now is important. The past is just something that you can reminisce about, so you will get some kind of knowledge out of it. But it's gone. Okay. And here we will have a Wild Kuan Yin oracle card for my dear Pisces viewers. Oh, a bit too many. One oracle card for my dear Pisces viewers. Okay. She tames by lying down the staff and rope. Okay, so it's kind of what I saw here, that you're giving up on someone that might, like you feel very connected to them, but you are not going in the same direction, and you are kind of realizing that you can't control them, So you're freeing yourself, and you're freeing them in the same time. And if something is truly yours, it will come back to you. It doesn't matter how many times you give it away. So, she tames by laying down the staff and the rope. My ways prevail. I subjugate the lower to the higher without any force. Through my ways, correct alignment to the higher divine order is established. My authority is supreme, yet I've no need to enforce. Devotions to me is absolute, yet I bestow freedom. I show you now the whispering way to tame great force. I initiate you in the way of strength without coercion, the way of attraction without demand. Follow me and learn the art of feminine power, that fear shall always succumb to love. There is something that you want to attain. A situation exists that you would like to change. You have been attempting to bring it about through the exertion of your will. Now there is a time and a place for such approaches. The strength of human will should never be underestimated. Yet there is another way, a gentler and more peaceful way, which will evoke little resistance within you and will help you attract what you want, rather than you having to carve it out of your own blood, sweat, and tears. This is the taming power, the magnetic lure of attraction that can tame even beyond the capacity of the will. What you want is possible, but the way you may be thinking it has to come about is doing you a disservice. Striving will create friction, where surrender and invitation through love will create affinity with the goal. Do all you can and then let go. When you let go of pushing and striving, there is less resistance created, and the situation at hand can naturally begin to resolve itself. Stay strong and true to yourself and your wishes, but trust that they can manifest more quickly when you come from a place of trust in the divine plan. So that was summing up the reading perfectly. So something to be grateful for. Okay, so my dear Pisces, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and I welcome you back to my beginning of May reading that I will do in the middle of April. Okay, bye bye.